everyone, it has been a long time since I've done a TBR video, mainly because my reading has been, to put it bluntly, pretty pathetic. I honestly don't know how I'm not finishing stuff quicker, but I tend to be finishing like a couple of books a month right now, which is just awful. So I've made a TBR to try and kick me back into the swing of reading. It's not that I'm not reading, it's just that I'm not reading very quick, it would seem. Which isn't all bad because I've been enjoying what I've been reading. But yes, I've got 12 books in this TBR video. I'm hoping I get to most of these, if not all of them. Famous last words. I'm already currently reading 3 of them because I've always got 3 books on the go at any time. A physical book, a Kindle book and an audiobook. So that will also help a lot. In this video, I will be showing you 4 from each category. So I'm going to try and get through 4 physical books, 4 Kindle books and 4 audiobooks in the month of June. And imagine if I get to all of them and can actually like read some more. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So I'll start off with the physical books. The book I'm currently reading is The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. This is the first book in the, what's it called again? Eldest Curses. The Eldest Curses trilogy that Cassandra Clare is now bringing out from the Shadowhunter world. I haven't got much left to go, to be honest. I might have finished this by the time this video goes up, which will make my June TBR a lot easier because it'll be 11 books rather than 12. But this is quite a short read and it's not taking me too much time to get through. It feels quite simple compared to some of the later works in the Shadowhunter world. And I've got mixed feelings about this book, so keep an eye out for a review of this coming very soon. The next physical book I want to read after that is one that I'm really kicking myself that I haven't got around to yet, because I was originally hoping to read it during the last couple of weeks and I've just been reading so slowly I didn't get to it. But I am desperate to read Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. If this doesn't happen in June, I'm just going to quit BookTube, quite frankly, because I'm so desperate to read this book. And I don't know why I am going so slowly. Maybe it's because I want to read this. So hopefully I'll get a bit quicker once this has been read. If you haven't heard about this book, have you been living under a rock? Taylor Jenkins Reid is the same author that wrote The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is one of my favourite books of all time. My favourite book of last year. So I've got very high hopes for this. And hopefully we'll fly through it. After that, I'm thinking I'm going to feel a bit slumpy. I'm going to be thinking no book in the world will measure up to it, because that's how I was with The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So I have prepared something that I think might be able to pull me in, and that is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I hear fantastic things about this book. I believe it's YA dystopian. If this can't kind of pull me out of my Taylor Jenkins Reid slump, I don't know what will. So yeah, I've thought very carefully about what book to pick up, and I think that this will do the job because I hear wonderful things about it. My worry is I will finish that still feeling the whole, oh my god, no books are ever going to compare to this or the previous. And I was really kind of struggling on what book to put as my 4th and final physical book for June. I've ummed and ahed, and I think this might change because I don't want to ruin the potential for this book, but I think I'm going to go for Gilded Cage by Vic James. This is the first book in a fantasy trilogy that Aoife raves about over at Fred Weasley Died Laughing. She bought me this book for my birthday last year, and so I want to get to this. I want to start this wonderful series and just get stuck in. So some exciting physical books definitely going on in June. I'm going to move on now to my Kindle books. My Kindle hasn't been getting as much use this year as I've been wanting it to. I just haven't been reading very quickly on it. I don't really know what's going on with me. But here are 4 books, and actually I'm going to say right now I'm going to be surprised if I get to all 4 of these books, because one of them is by an author that I know I read slowly and there's nothing I can do about that, but it is what it is. So the Kindle book I'm currently reading is Never Tell by Lisa Gardner. I forgot her name then. This is the 10th book in the Detective D.D. Warren series. I am about halfway through it right now and I'm absolutely loving it. And all it's making me do is want to pick up the first 9 books in the series now as a result, because I'm loving it. I don't think I'll have any problems flying through the rest of this book at all. And I might even have finished this before the beginning of June too. We'll have to see. After that, I'm going to move on to another crime book, and that is Bitter Edge by Rachel Lynch. This is the 4th book in the D.I. Kelly Porter series. I've heard little bits about this series here and there, nothing majorly though. I don't know anything about this book anymore, and I want to keep it that way. I like going into these sorts of books knowing very little so that I can fully be immersed in the story in the way the author wants you to be. From there, we move on to the author that I read very slowly. I'm going to read The Missing Sister by Dinah Jeffries. Dinah Jeffries writes beautiful historical fiction that's always set in that's always set in places that you would never think of picking up or reading otherwise. This will be my 3rd, I think, Dinah Jeffries book, and I loved the first 2 that I read, so I'm really excited to get to this one. This one is set in Burma in the 1930s. That's all I know, and I'm going to keep that way too because I just love Dinah Jeffries' writing so much and I can't wait to get sucked in. The final Kindle book that I want to get to in June, but I would be surprised if I do, is one from my TBR bag. My TBR bag, I've got a section on my Kindle. Yes, it's not a TBR jar, it's a TBR bag. And I've not read anything out of there in a while, so I wanted to pick one of those up. And I was looking through it and I was like, oh my god, I've still not read Ruin of Stars, which is the 2nd book in the Mask of Shadows duology. And it'd be nice to, since I'm starting so many new series off as you have already seen, it'd be nice to get something finished up. So I've picked this. I enjoyed the first book a lot. I'm hoping that it won't take me too much to get back into the world because it's been a couple of years since I read that book. So hopefully it'll be easy for me to kind of get back into. I might rewatch my review possibly to get me back into the characters and the swing of it. But I remember it ish. So then my audiobooks for June. I'm currently listening to, and when I say currently listening to, I've listened to literally like the first 5 minutes and that's it. But I'm currently listening to I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. Wow. People make that look such an easy name to say. Why did I struggle with that? Anyway, this is a non-fiction book about the Golden State Killer. And if you've been watching my channel a while, you will know that I really enjoy reading about serial killers. So I think this will be just up my street. After that, and considering everything else that I've got going on with my June picks, I thought that I might want something a bit light, fluffy, quite literally, and easy to get through. So recently I picked up The Animals of Farthing Wood by Colin Dann on audiobook. I own a physical book. I used to watch the TV show when I was younger. I was obsessed with this programme as a kid, and I just thought it'd be really nice to get back into the whole story and get to know all the animals again via audiobook. I think it'll be quite a therapeutic reread. So I have picked that one to kind of just lighten June up a bit. From there, I want to read Circe by Madeline Miller. This is a book that I've seen so many people talk about over the last year, and I feel like I'm missing out, so I've picked up a copy of the audiobook because it was on some sort of deal on Audible, so I was like, yes, I'll grab that. And finally, earlier on in the year, I made a video asking people to pick my next audiobook. I worked through a lot of those picks already, but I've still got a few to go, and so I thought I'd better pick one of those. So I've gone for one that Aoife suggested, which is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. This is a book I've been meaning to get to for so long, and so it was just the one out of many that she'd named that kind of was screaming out to me the most. So very excited to be getting to this. I think of everything, the audiobooks will be the ones that I'll find easiest to get through in time, because assuming I'm having a normal reading month, I can get through an audiobook a week quite easily. So this should at least get started in June, I think, and it'll be the last one I pick up, so we'll have to see how I get on. I do still need to film more of my videos looking at how I've got on with previous years' TBRs and how many of the books I've read from them each time, which is also what spurred me to make a TBR for June, because I was like, I've not made any in ages, and I want to kind of see how I'm getting on with my TBRs now versus how I was then. So this is a slightly ambitious TBR for me compared to what I've been reading recently, but in realistic terms, 12 books a month should be what I can do. I should be looking at reading about a book a week of every single kind that I'm reading. It's not difficult to get through that many. So fingers crossed I get through these. What are you planning on picking up in June, and have you read any of these books? I would love to know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!